Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show with me, your host, Anahata, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, maybe disconnected? Do you ever feel like you don't know how to live a life of peace and joy? I am Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach, and during this show, we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. The Crystal Coach Show leaves you with a feeling of connection and the clarity it takes towards becoming the best version of yourself as you hear from thought leaders and many others to help you ignite the crystalline nature of who you really are. Stay tuned. The Crystal Coach Show starts now. Hey there, welcome to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata Roach, and I'm delighted to be here today. And guess what? This episode is just for all of the folks out there that, like me, love crystals and stones and everything about them. I want to talk to you today about a dirty little secret about crystals that you may not have really realized. And it just dawned on me the other day when I was kind of taking an inventory here in my house of all of the crystals and stones. I've got quite a bit. I mean, I've got a ton in my office, but my home has rivals the office. Let me just say that. So anyway, this episode today is really going to focus on choosing and using stones for self-care, how to find them, hold them, work with them, take care of them, and allow them to support and take care of you. So the whole entire time is going to be something a little bit different. So I encourage you to just stay tuned for all of the goodies to unfold. Now, I call this, the dirty secret, and it's really, even if you've always collected stones as a child, or you're just now kind of getting crystal curious and you got a few pieces that you like and you carry with them, or you keep them up on the shelf or whatever, it behooves you to realize that crystals can get dirty. They really can get dirty. And I'm not talking about the dust and gunk that floats around, in the atmosphere. Yeah, just like anything else sitting up on a shelf, it's going to get dusty. But what I'm calling a dirt is the energy. The crystal itself has been exposed to a lot of comings and goings in your house, ups and downs, highs and lows, emotional frequencies that could be just really overwhelming sometimes. When that happens, you may start feeling like your home is not as an aha kind of a place that you wanted it to be, or you have felt it to be before. It feels stuck or stagnant. It's like, oh, I got to do some spring cleaning. Well, even if you do some deep cleaning of your home or your office, it's still going to have that feeling of stuckness. And you're going, well, what's wrong? What's wrong is that your stones are not clear. They're dirty, energetically dirty. They have taken on as much as they can hold, and they're stuck too. So it does us both a favor to take some time to clean those properly and clear them so that we can use them, so that they can radiate their default frequency, which is what they came out of the earth with, and help us and support us on our journey. They're on their journey, we're on our journey, right? Anyway, the first thing I wanted, since I've named it dirty, I'm going to kind of go backwards, and we'll work our way forwards to choosing and using. But let's just assume we have them, okay? Personally, I had more than a lot of normal people. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that a really dear sister friend of mine, who was almost kind of a spiritual mentor for me for a while. She passed a couple of years ago, and I got like most of her stones, and some of them have been given away. Some of them, I've got in boxes still. But it hit me that those need to be cleared and cleaned because they had all of the energy of what was happening in her with her as she went through, her illness and finally passed. So that's got to get cleaned, right? So how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, there's a lot. There's several different ways that I want to talk to you about. One of them is the easy way, which is to put them, hold them under running water. Now, if you've got a bunch of tumbled stones and things that are polished, just small little polished stones or bigger polished stones, that's easy. That's an easy fix. Put them in a bowl, or actually I put them in a colander. You just kind of put the ones that you can run water over in a colander. And then I think about, kind of visualize in my mind a clear mountain stream and have that frequency of that clear mountain stream in my mind, and then intend for the water running over the rocks to clear and clean the frequencies and energies that have been stored in there as I am holding them under the running water. Okay, so it's all about intention. Yeah, so you're intending for these stones to be cleaned and cleared. And so you can do that for as long as it feels right to you. I wouldn't just like pass them underneath the thing and go, hey, that's it. That's like phoning it in. If you're really committed to in cleaning and clearing, you need to be there, right? Be present for it. Don't think about what else you have to do. It's a ceremonial kind of process, even though it looks very natural, right? It just looks like an everyday thing. You've got, well, not an everyday thing. Who has a colander full of rocks every day? You don't. But the intention is to be present for the clearing. Okay. All right. So that's the easiest way of clearing stones, at least if you've got a lot of stones to clear at the same time. Okay. If you just have one or two, you just hold it in your hand and run it over the water, right? Those are easy. The polished stones are easy because you can run water over. Now, there are some that, like selenite here, if you have a big old selenite log, or even if you have a little small piece of selenite, that actually dissolves in water. I have friends that have taken baths with a big chunk of selenite and got out and said, where'd the selenite go? Well, it went into the water, so your skin absorbed it. And so then, if you want to use it as a bath salt, I guess that's one way to do it. But if you're looking to hold on to that piece that you have, don't take a bath with it. It's going to dissolve. Lepidolite is another mineral that in a raw form will dissolve in water. And so you don't want to do that. I actually had one time, I thought pyrite was okay, but I had a pyrite rose, which is all of these little cubed pyrite formations that came in kind of like a flower thing. And I had it in my colander with all the other ones, and it dissolved. The concretion mud or whatever the binder was for all of these individual pyrite pieces just dissolved. It was kind of sand base, actually. I didn't even realize that. So don't make that same mistake if you've got a very kind of a unique specimen of pyrite that looks like a flower. Please don't put water on it. Let me see, that selenite and lepidolite, and there's some others too that I wouldn't recommend putting in water. But I think you could be, it could be said that any type of quartz is safe. Any type of quartz. Amethyst, rose quartz, smoky quartz, clear quartz, citrine, all of those quartzes, and then carnelians, and there's other SiO2 based stones that don't mind water, right? They're hard enough. They're like glass. The SiO2 is glass, right? So it's got that glass-like quality to it, and it doesn't absorb water. But so for those that don't need water, that don't like water, the way to clear and clean them and stop them from being dirty is with sound or with smudging. Now, what do I mean by smudging? Smudging is like if you get a bundled up piece of white sage, you can get it online or in any metaphysical store. It's just dried sage, kind of like with twine around it, so it holds together, and you burn the tip of it, and it emits some smoke, right? So that is a very clearing, cleansing type of frequency, the sage smoke. The thing about smudging your stones is that you have to follow it up with something else, because it may clear out what's been stored in your stone, but it does not fill in. It doesn't, it clears out like water clears out and then leaves no residue, right? But so smoke and the smudging, it only takes it out. But nature abhors a vacuum. So if you're clearing something else is going to come in unless you fill that space. So filling the space with sound, where either you have tincture bells, or you got a drum, or you got a rain stick, or you can tone. The only thing is with toning, you don't have to be a singer. You just have to, and again, it's the intention. You have the clear mountain stream in your mind, and you just tone that frequency. You ask for whatever the frequency is of that tone, and that's what comes out. So you can use sound, and you can use sweetgrass to follow up the smudging with sage. So sage and sweetgrass go together. Sage clears, sweetgrass fills. So sweetgrass comes usually like a braid, in a long braid. And again, you just light one end of it and use the smoke that comes out. And then you can, it lasts a pretty long time. Okay, so that's the big number one thing. I didn't save it for last. I gave it to you up front, but I want to spend the rest of our time together talking about how you go about choosing and preparing, connecting, and using crystals for self-care. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, that's our next subject. Don't go away. Hi there. Welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata. We're talking about crystals, and we just reviewed how to clean and clear those dirty crystals. I mean, in terms of cleaning and clearing, I would recommend that you think of if you start to feel like the environment has shifted a little bit, that it feels a little sleepy or dull or maybe even stagnant, that would be your signal to take your stones and do just a little clear and cleanse. And the more the more often you do that, the less intense the energetic dirt is. So whatever feels comfortable for you, but I always think about it as when I recognize that things seem stuck and I need to really do some heavy duty cleaning, I'm like, oh, the stones too. Yeah. Okay. Now, next topic in our crystal bag is about choosing. How do you choose a stone? What I always tell people is there are so many books out there and so many descriptions of what crystals and stones do that as to be just really confusing. So if you read a definition in a book about what a stone or a crystal can do to support you, what frequency it holds, don't say, "Oh, I need that," and go out and get it, because that's your head. That's your head telling you, "Oh, that would be good for me," but it's not your body. The best way to choose a stone or a crystal is something that resonates with your body. So if you're like, for example, at a home goods store and you see this big, huge chunk of calcite or selenite or whatever, and you go, oh my goodness, that's so gorgeous. Your body is saying, oh, I want that. Well, then by all means, go get it. If you're at a metaphysical rock store and there's all these bins of all of these different kinds of stones and crystals, don't go and read the descriptions of each one before you pick it up. Allow your body to go to wherever it gets led to. And, maybe you're just drawn to having a piece of rose quartz or something. It doesn't, what it is a frequency resonance with you. Okay. So that stone has something that you need either to support you or to learn from. I know there's times when I've picked up a stone and it's like bit me. Bleh! I don't want that. That doesn't work for me. Hey, uh, and but you know what? You can't walk away from that, because that stone that got your attention in not a positive way has a learning opportunity for you. There's something about that frequency that you need to work through in order to be either in resonance with it or to learn from it. All right. So there's something that's deficient in your frequency, and that stone wants to help you get it cleared or level up. Okay. So I remember my first piece of moldavite that I ever picked up. It gave me this horrific headache, and I was like, man, no, I can't have that. But I was being guided. I had lots of taps on my shoulder. This is what you need. Oh man, I don't know. Well, I went ahead and got it, right? And put it up on my altar, which I passed every day when I was getting ready to go to work. And one day I passed it and it said, wear me. First time a rock ever talked to me. And I'm like, no, you give me a headache. Wear me. And so I did. And I had like a quitting caffeine kind of headache, like dull 3 days. For 3 days, I had this headache. And then I didn't have it. And then I could wear it. And it was like, oh. And then I found out that that's like one of the highest frequencies in a stone, right? Because it is a result of a collision of a meteorite with the earth. And there was something that I needed in that frequency. And the humans have to raise their vibration up to meet the crystal or stone. I know, right? You're going, well, wait a minute. Humans, obviously, blah, blah, blah. No, sorry. The minerals are the ones that you need to resonate with. It's not the other way around. So when you're using crystals and stones to support you, you're coming into resonance with them, not the other way around. Yeah. So that's the very first thing that I always tell my clients is, if you want to start collecting stones, do that from a place of, what do I need? What does my body tell me that will support or help me in my journey and in my own soul's growth, right? So always let your body choose the stone. let your heart tell you and not your head. Because if you ask 2 or 3 crystal people, how do you use a stone? You might get 15 answers, all of them different. So it has to do with what feels right to you. Don't be a slave to what any book says. I am not a slave to the book that I use for reference, but I have already experienced, I have already sat with my crystals. I've already connected to them. I already know what the frequency holds for me and what generally a frequency is for others. So, but the subtle ways in which it works on a quantum and frequency level is unique to everyone. Okay. So bear that in mind. So that's choosing. So how do you use the crystal or the stone that you just bought? Depends. It depends on what you got and depends on how you feel drawn to use it, right? There are some basic ones that have this frequency that, when I make recommendations at the end of my other podcasts that you could use this or you could use this to support what we were talking about. It's from a very broad umbrella perspective. So, for example, rose quartz, I just said that has this beautiful vibration of love, and it's more about love of self, but it's just love. It's just pink and it's just beautiful and it's warm and fuzzy. Amethyst, on the other hand, has a frequency that allows you to connect to the divine aspect of yourself. And to some, it's very protective. And the purple color in it is primarily influenced by traces of iron as well as magnesium. Starts one of those M's. I just drew a blank. The crystal coach stumped herself. Oh. Anyway, that iron in it helps you to ground. It helps you, is protective, Iron Man shield kind of frequencies. Selenite. A lot of people use selenite. Some people say you can put other stones on selenite to clear them. You could put other stones on black tourmaline if you think about that. This is a connection to your higher self. It's a very high angelic kind of light frequency. So can you clear other stones with it? If you think that you've got the intention to clear it and then that it will, sure, use it. Do I do that? No, but everybody's different. And there's no right or wrong way to work with crystals or stones in the most positive aspect. Do you know what I'm saying? If you work in the light, then there's no right or wrong way to do that. There's no reason to sit there and judge yourself for doing it wrong because it felt right to you, right? Black tourmaline transmutes negativity to clear light. It's an earth element, so it's grounding and it's protective, but it does transmute negativity. I have black tourmaline, usually have black tourmaline all around me. Today, I'm broadcasting from my home and I left my black tourmaline in the office and in my bedroom. What are you going to do? Anyway, I've shown you black tourmaline before. And it's just my go-to stone for clearing out negativity. So if you want to if you have a big chunk of black tourmaline, put a couple of stones around it or put it in the center and put your stones around that. And it will help to clear out the negativity in those stones. So using the way I want to share with you that there's a connection that you can make with every one of your stones. And when I'm teaching others how to use stones and mentoring my folks, that I say, look, you can keep what really helped me when I started out was keeping a stone journal. So every time I got a new stone, I would write out, when I got it, what it was, look up the formulary for it, so I would know what the predominant mineral. Always the formulaic molecular structure, the predominant minerals are the ones in the front. And there's lots of other little minerals sometimes. Like black tourmaline has a formula that's like a yard long. It's primarily, you just look at the primary formula. So anyway, that's what I said. You write that down. You write down what it looks like, you hold it in your hand. How does it feel? What's the shape of it? And then, after you've cleared it, if you have any other information about, like if you buy it at a gem and a mineral show, that's going to tell you where it came from, what mine, what country. So you keep that also as a record. But the way to connect it is to put it in your receiving or non-dominant hand so that you can start to absorb the frequencies of the stone. And if you can imagine it being like a little lightning storm that goes from the stone into your hand, like there's a communication between your energy and the energy of the stone. I have an actual meditation that I give to my folks when we're doing this kind of work that helps you to connect with the stone and really awaken it for work with yourself, for support. It's a lot more involved than what I'm glossing over, but the point I'm trying to make is that if you really truly want to work with a stone, you have to connect with it. If you just like what it looks like and likes the way it feels and you want it just to decorate your home, that's perfectly fine. That will be the extent of how it supports you. You don't have to, the connection with it has to do with the resonant field and working together, right? So if you have something that you feel really drawn to work with, that is what you need to work with. That's how you need to approach it, is to make sure that you've got a physical connection with the stone, so that you can exchange energy. And then you can, as you are connected to it, you can ask how best we can work together. That's serious. That's a serious commitment. So not everybody's ready to do that, but that's another way to use it. The way to use the stones on a kind of a superficial level is with the self-love frequency of rose quartz, for example. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling, you're beating yourself up and you need a hug, you need an energetic hug. This is my energetic hug. This is a beautiful, huge piece of sphere of rose quartz. And this is my baby. So whenever I need a hug energetically from my rose quartz, I go to this thing. And she's beautiful and I love her. But that's how I connect, sometimes superficially. And that's how you could connect as well. Or if you need a kick in the pants to get something done you've been procrastinating, pick up a piece of carnelian. And if you have connected with it, even superficially, by clearing it and having it in your home, you can use that to say to yourself, hey, this is going to help me take that action I need to take. Right? Yeah. I think I've covered all of those bases. I'm going to take another quick break And when we come back, we'll wrap this up. I'm going to talk to you about how you can use some crystals in water as like a charged water. Okay. So don't go away. Come right back and we'll see you in a few minutes. Hey friends, we're back. We're back. Crystal Coach Show, and I'm your host, Anahata. We're talking about taking, using and choosing stones for self-care, getting them clean, connecting with them. And now, as kind of a last parting gift for you, I want to talk about how you can use some of these stones to charge your water. Okay. Now, just like I told you that any crystal, that would be like a quartz, any quartz like clear, amethyst, citrine, rose, smoky, any of those quartzes, you can use, because they usually come polished, and they don't really need to be polished. They're already kind of a glass-like structure anyway. Do I have? Yeah, I have kind of clear quartz here. So you can put, if you would like, for example, clear quartz has this beautiful way of amplifying energies around it, but you can program it. That's another subject for another day, programming. Maybe not. Hold the crystal, the clear crystal, in your dominant hand, and with the point going in. And then with whatever you're intending to place in it, whatever emotion you want. So say you need confidence, or you need strength, or you need energy, or you need to remember something. Whatever that energy is, sit with that energy and connect to the stone and ask that it hold that for you. You are programming the crystal to hold the vibration of love, of support, of courage, of whatever you want, right? Something that will help you. And then when it's programmed, you'll feel it. And you need to use it. You take it in your non-dominant hand, again, with this pointing. Did I tell you to do it this way? Yeah, no. When you're programming it, it goes out. When you're receiving it, it goes in. There you go. That's how it goes. And so you're receiving, if you want to receive that which you've programmed in a stone, then you turn it back around and it comes in. You're receiving. You're programming out, you're receiving in. Okay, does that make sense? All right, that's what I wanted to share with you. I wasn't planning on it, but it's an easy thing to do, to explain anyway. It's not necessarily an easy thing to do, but to explain it is. But it just takes practice. So if you don't feel like it's working for you, it's just keep trying. Don't get discouraged. It's all about working with them and learning how to work and to connect and to enjoy a relationship with the frequencies of the mineral kingdom. Now, I talked to you about charging your water. The thing that I really came to enjoy and appreciate about shungite, I can't say enough about shungite. It's such a wonderful mineral to deflect electromagnetic frequencies, that which comes from your computer or your cell phone, or the 5G towers and anything else is kind of floating around. I started doing this well before the pandemic, but it really helps me to ward off any kind of I don't know, just the common cold or the flu or any other kind of malaise. that is unrelated to COVID, but it does build your immune system. And so I went all through the pandemic, and I didn't get my first case of COVID until 2022. So and that was because I lost my bottle that had the COVID, had the shungite in it. So there's two types of shungite that you can put in a bottle. That which is polished, and the raw kind of this is called elite or noble shungite. And it's kind of a crystallized version of shungite. Shungite in rawest form looks like carbon. It comes off on your hands like a pencil lead. And that's not good to have raw in your water. But I usually keep in my water bottle a piece of shungite. And I just feel that it really helps protect me. I drink the water, the charged water. If it's in that bottle for more than a couple of hours, it's starting to charge it. And that's really one of the things that I feel that really helped me during the pandemic, and has helped me to keep myself relatively healthy, along with other things that I do, obviously. Now, you could do, if you wanted to charge your water for love, you could have rose quartz. If you wanted to charge your water to connect to your higher self and your divine self, you can have a polished piece of amethyst. If you wanted to charge your water to stay grounded, which is obviously something I should have done today. I'm just like stoned, y'all. I'm stoned on my stones. All of these, I got so many stones around me right now that I'm just going, hello. Anyway, so that there's all kinds, any of the ones that I told you about that you want to manifest, you want to have charge your water to get into this frequency of manifestation. The citrine is lovely for that. So the charged water is, you don't want to put in any kind of raw, unpolished anything. But I wouldn't recommend anything aside from shungite, polished shungite, or the noble or elite shungite. And anything else, I would have a small piece of, and charge your water by putting the raw piece in another jar or something, and then lower it into the water that you want to charge. Don't put it directly into that, because this is like malachite has got asbestos and some other things that are not very good for you in its makeup. So you don't want to ingest something that is poisonous. So you're in the clear for anything that has to use with, you're in the clear with anything quartz, right? And also with shungite water. I highly recommend shungite water. I think it's thebomb.com. But any other kind of mineral, and we talked about the selenite melting, right? So selenite would be another one. If you want to charge the water, you put it in another jar, seal it up, and put it in the water you want to charge, because you don't want that getting wet, or it ain't gonna work, right? You're looking for the frequencies. You're not looking for the actual material, right? Okay, I've just covered a huge ground of waterfront for you. If you have any questions, you can email me at mycrystalcoach@gmail.com, mycrystalcoach@gmail.com. And if you'd like to learn more about how to use and choose and work with crystals and stones, I have a free 20-minute discovery call that you can book on my website. It's thecrystalcoach.com. Yes, easy, thecrystalcoach.com. So that's how you can reach out to me, mycrystalcoach@gmail, or book a free session discovery call at thecrystalcoach.com. that's all for today. I hope you learned something and were able to get some clarity around why maybe your environment is a little stuck. Go out there and get rid of those dirty crystals. And we'll see you next time on the Crystal Coach Show. Bye for now.
You have been listening to the Crystal Coach Show, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. With me, your host, Anahata. Tune in every first and third Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. Feel connected and reside in the vibration of love on The Crystal Coach Show. For more information and to become the best version of yourself, visit thecrystalcoach.com. That's thecrystalcoach.com. See you next time.